Thor, son of Odin, god of thunder and protector of mankind, struggled mightily against his greatest challenge yet, opening a bag of gold. It all started when Thor, along with his fleet-footed human servant, Thjafi and Loki the trickster god, set out on a journey to Jotunheim, land of the giants. Along the way, they met a giant named Screamer, who offered to accompany them and even carry their provisions in his bag. But when the mate came, Screamer dozed off, and Thor couldn't untie the sack. Frustrated and hungry, Thor tried to wake the giant 3 times by striking his head with his hammer, but draw near as hard as he could. But each time Screamer thought it was only a falling acorn and went back to sleep. The next morning, Screamer departed, and eventually, the travelers reached a massive fortress called Utgard. Inside the long hall, they met the king of giants, Utgard Loki, who greeted his guests with a challenge. Each of them was to prove they were the best at some particular skill. Loki went first, declaring himself the world's fastest eater. To test him, the king summoned his servant Loki, and the two were placed at either end of a long trough stuffed with food. Loki ate his way inward with blinding speed, but when the contestants met in the center, Loki saw that his adversary had not only eaten just as much food, but also the bones and even the trough itself. Next was Sajafi, who could outrun anything in the wild. The king summoned on um, a, seer, a cereal-looking giant named Hugi, who outraced Sajafi easily. But the boy would not give up and demanded a rematch. This time, Sajafi finished close behind, and the king admitted he'd never seen a human run so fast. Sajavi tried a third time, running like his life depended on it, but Hugi was even faster than before. Finally, it was Thor's turn. The king offered him a drinking horn, saying all his men could drain it in 2 gulps. Thor raised it to his lips and drank the surprisingly cold and salty meat. In the longest gulp he could muster, then a second, then a third, but the level of the meat in the horn was only slightly lowered. To test Thor's renowned strength, the king offered a seemingly easy challenge: lift his pet cat off the ground. But this cat was all tall as Thor. Every time he tried to lift it, it charged its back. And strangely, with all his godly might, he only managed to lift one paw. Enraged, Thor demanded to restore any of the giants. The king summoned the giant's old nursemaid, Ellie. Though the woman looked frail, Thor couldn't overpower her, and grew weaker the longer he struggled until he was brought to one knee. The 3 companions prepared to leave, disappointed and humbled. But as the king escorted them out, He revealed that nothing in the castle had been what it seemed. Loki Loki lost the eating contest because his opponent Loki was wildfire itself, devouring everything in its path. Sujavi couldn't outrun Hugi because Hugi was the embodiment of thought, always faster than action. And even Thor couldn't defeat Ellie or old age, which weakens everyone eventually. As for the other challenges, they had also been illusions. The drinking horn was filled with the ocean, and Thor had drained enough to cause the tides. The cat was the serpent that encircles the world, and Thor's efforts shifted the earth. And Skymir had been Utgard Loki in disguise, deflecting Thor's hammer blows to form valleys in the surrounding mountains. The giant congratulated them on their prowess, which so frightened him he would never allow them in his land again. Thor and his companions failed the challenges presented them, but in trying to achieve achieve the impossible, they pushed themselves harder than ever before, and changed the world in ways no one had expected.